everybody, I just want to give you an update. We have power back. You can see there's more lighting here. It came on about 2:30, 2:50 this morning, so we only have power for about 7 hours. So thank God we didn't lose any food, anything from our freezer or anything. I do have a cup in my freezer that you fill up with ice, and I put a coin on the top to see if during a power outage, if that cup melts and the coin sinks down and refreezes, you could see how much you need to use up or cook right away, because things are starting to get frosted. But that didn't happen at all, so we're good. Hopefully that's a tip that you guys do at home. It will, at least if you're not home to regulate the amount of times you go in and out the freezer, you could at least know when something is defrosted in your freezer and what you should use up. So yesterday's storm was a good reminder that an emergency kit can come in handy, and an emergency can come out of nowhere. We had one guaranteed, possibly two tornadoes drop down within 5-10 minutes away from my house. Okay, we are safe. We did not have any damage, but 5 minutes down the road, there's lots of damage. Some houses, no roofs, some houses demolished. There's like 60 houses just in Dunrobin, like 10 minutes away, that are gone, like a lot of businesses and stuff like that. So a tornado has never been recorded in Ottawa area ever. There's been some around the area, and we've had warnings, but yesterday I was taking the warning of, it's just a warning, it's like wind, it's rain, it wasn't that bad, and then it got bad. So take those warnings and be safe. But I do have an emergency kit, but over the past couple of years we've gone into it and not put stuff back. And so yesterday, finding lanterns and lights and candles and all that stuff, it took a few minutes to find them because they got borrowed for camping or whatever. So my word to the wise is to set up an emergency kit and have stuff prepared. It was lucky that I was cooking supper last night, and it was almost done that when the power went out. So all I did was put the lid on the thing and let it continue to stay cooking, so that when my hubby got home, we had supper. So we had hot food, a candlelight dinner. It was kind of semi-romantic, but then we got bored because there was nothing to do, and it was complete darkness and complete silence in the house, which we are not used to. So also another thing to make sure, I think I'm going to be doing an emergency kit, either going to be purchasing some or doing it myself. I'm going to look at the cost and see how the ones that are already pre-made, and that, because if we had to be evacuated, we did not have those things in place to just grab. I would have had to run around the house to find the meds and find the things and everything like that. So one thing that did save us was having these battery chargers to charge your devices, USB charger. So you could have, it's just plain USB. So charging iPhone or Android or camera, or charging a battery, if there's an electrical battery, you could use this to charge with. Having these fully charged, having one of these fully charged in the kit at all times is definitely needed, because basically I had data on my phone, and I had my phone charged to this and was able to put a hotspot for my family to access their phones so they could text with their friends and see what was up and see if, and family, and that, and to also keep, I go, well, you can't really watch YouTube because there's only so much data that would work off my phone to watch YouTube, but they could read their audiobooks or read their ebooks and stuff like that, and listen to the music that's already on their devices and stuff like that. But so I'm going to just read you some items that should be in an emergency kit that you should have. I'll put the link below from the website. That there's a CDC has great resources, and this one's a build a kit from ready.gov. It will have different things, and then you change it to what you works for your family. A basic disaster supplies kit have water, 1 gallon of water per person per day for at least 3 days, so 72 hours, for drinking and sanitation. Food, at least 3 days supply of non-perishable food. This could be stuff that you pick up from the store, like ramen or noodle soups, or those add water camping food things, or you can get the actual like rations that you can get, like the army rations too, or cans of ravioli. You could just, or cans of tuna, you just open that up and eat it. You don't have to heat it up, it's already cooked. A flashlight per person, and a strong flashlight. As we found out, some of the flashlights here are not very strong, that our camera flashlights were stronger than all of them, which goes saying, I think we need to invest in better flashlights. A first aid kit, because you never know in a power edge, if you were busy doing something and then all of a sudden the power went out and it was dark and you were not near a flashlight within hand's reach, you could be bumping into stuff, cutting yourself, scraping yourself, falling. You could be injuring yourself just getting to your emergency kit or getting to the flashlight. So make sure there's at least a minimum little emergency kit, and also have a bigger one for bigger emergencies and first aid things. Extra batteries. I know where there's extra batteries, AA, AAA, and stuff, but putting them in the kit, that way you can grab it and it's good to go. Make sure the batteries are still valid and still good for the flashlights you have. Like, there's no point in putting AA batteries in your kit if all your flashlights take AAA, So make sure you just keep them up to date. A whistle to signal for help. A dust mask to help filter contaminated air or plastic sheeting, and duct tape to tape a shelter in place. Moist towelettes and garbage bags and plastic ties for personal sanitation, just in case. Now, in most emergency situations, if you're losing power, you won't need to use this, but if this should be your all-encompassing grab and go, especially if you have to evacuate. Wrench or pliers to turn off utilities. I honestly would have to research that to see where to do that in our house. So that's some research I should be looking into. Manual can opener for food. We don't have an electric can opener, so I would just grab one of the ones, the old style ones, and put it in there. That works, not one that's kind of crappy. You want to have local maps, because in an emergency, your phone might be dead. You might not have a battery. You might not have cell signal. So you should have at least a map of your area in paper form. I know, going old school. And probably a compass, too. And your cell phone with chargers for plug into the wall, as well as these batteries. These, you can get them, my husband, the Aki ones. This one's a 20,000 mAh battery, and it is, it can charge 2 devices at once. There's 2 USB things at once, and it can charge my phone at least 4 times without it being empty. So that's always good. Now, additional emergency supplies. What I think I'm going to be doing is calling our pharmacy and making sure there's at least a backup of everybody's medication in the kit, so that each month I'll just switch it out, so it's always the freshest one in the kit. Because you should have a backup of your prescription, because right now in Kanata, It is crazy. I'm on the moms groups and everything like that, and like everybody's talking about where's things are open, which pharmacies are open. What's Walmart is closed, Superstore is closed, Costco is open, but it's very busy, because they have power. The other Walmart, it's open, but they have no meat, no dairy, and hardly any bread. Oh, and no water, because everybody went there. So, you know, and most of the restaurants in the area are still out of power, so you can't even go and get food locally. You have to drive further away, and the malls that are closer to us, there's like lineups outside the malls just to get into the malls. So, which is kind of crazy. So, this is for people that don't have power at home. They're looking for food. Also, make sure you have non-prescription meds in there, like anti-diarrhea, some Tylenol, Advil, antacids, laxative, whatever things that you possibly could need. Make sure you have that in the kit. If you wear glasses or contacts, lens solution, have that in there. If you have a baby, make sure there's some baby formula, bottles, diapers, wipes, whatever they are currently using. Make sure that there's at least pet food, if you have pets, like a good bag of food to feed them for 3 days too, because you have to make sure you feed yourself and feed your pets. And then make sure there's a bowl and enough water for them to drink too. I don't know if they need a gallon per day, but depending on the pet. Make sure that you have enough cash on you, because that's what was happening yesterday. Was a lot of these places, the debit machines were not working, so you couldn't use debit, you couldn't use credit cards, you could only use cash. I don't know about you, but I usually have only a 20 on me, and or if I have a 20, I have whatever the change is from using that 20. I should make sure that I have cash on me, so that set away that in case of emergency, that should last you able to get enough stuff for 3 days. Like if you have a car, make sure you have gas canisters filled, that your car is always full of gas, and an extra canister just in case. We don't drive, so we don't have that thing, but for my barbecue, I have an extra barbecue tank full of gas to cook with. So if we didn't have power today, I would have made do. Make sure you have a fire extinguisher, which we do. Household chlorine bleach, and medicine dropper to disinfect water. So in a pinch, you put a drop of bleach in the water just to make sure that it's disinfected. That's if the water is contaminated in your area. With the power outage in our area, that's not so much of an issue, but depending where you are, this could be an issue for you. Matches in a waterproof container. Feminine supplies and personal hygiene for the amount of time of one feminine menstrual cycle, at times how many women you have in your household. Plus, pads are great for to be used on open wounds. They are very absorbent, of course, and you can put them on there, and they're good for that. So they can do two things with one stone. Have a mess kit. So if you've done any camping, make sure that there's, a plate, spoon, fork, cup for each person. Paper towels, paper plates, plastic utensils, anything like that. Because you might not have water to wash your dishes. Paper and pencil, that's what goes without saying, in case you have to leave notes. For people, like if you are home alone and you have to go out and people are not home yet, you can leave them a note. And also books, games, and activities for kids to keep them busy, because when there's darkness, there's not much you can do. Also, make sure that you maintain your kit. Keep the canned food in a cool, dry place. Store box food in tightly closed plastic or metal containers. Replace expired items as needed. So this is where I fell short. I was not maintaining my kit. I was using stuff in my kit, but not putting it back and not replacing it. And rethink your needs every year and update it as your family grows, because I had some stuff in there for my kids when they were smaller, and we don't need those things. Having audiobooks was enough. Some kit storage locations, you should have 2 at least. You should have one in your home, and you should have one in your vehicle. You should also have one, if you work outside the home, have a backpack one for at least a 24-hour one at your work. So that has some water, some food, flashlight and all that stuff. So have almost like an everyday carry thing, but much smaller. They could have at work, at your desk, or in your backpack, or in your briefcase, or whatever. Also, another thing, make sure that all of your important papers are in one place in your house, away from anywhere of it getting flooding, like high up. So if there's flooding, it's not on the bottom drawer, high up, like head high, because if they're, and in a safe place. So I am going to be doing some emergency preparedness things on my channel in the near future, and I'll share with you what I purchase and what's going to go in my kit. This is the thing, it's going to get expensive at first, but that's why I'm going to look at what's the best price. And since I did not use all of my grocery money for September, I still have about $100 I did not spend. So I'm going to use that $100 and see what I can get, and that. So that's what we're going to do. Please feel free to comment below what things that we should have in our kit, and if you have any resources of the best places to purchase maybe an already prepared kit, especially if they ship to Canada, and the cost is below, mention it below. And so yeah, it was a very big wake-up call, as we've never had tornado land here, and we didn't really take the warning seriously because we've never had that experience. We get like maybe 16 tornadoes land in all of Canada a year. Most of the tornadoes hit the US. They don't come up here because we're just too high up. I don't know why. We get more like earthquakes and stuff like that. But even then, not where I live. In my area, the major emergency natural disasters is usually either flooding or snowstorms. So that's another thing. Make sure that when you have in your kit blankets and things to keep warm, especially in the wintertime. In the summertime, you don't need it as much. So thanks for watching. Hopefully this helps you have a wake-up call too, that even in the suburbs of a big city, you also need to have at least a 72-hour kit. The Ottawa Hydro is saying that there's places in Ottawa that's not going to have hydro electricity until like Monday. We were lucky; it was only out for a few hours, but people across, just around the corner, across the street from the major street from us, it's still out. Okay, there's and that's just around. I can go out my door and look, and there's no power. The city lights, most of them are still out. So it's quite, I'm just lucky that I don't have to go out because I have enough stuff here. So with power, I'm good. Okay, we have enough food, we have enough water, we have enough clothing and stuff. We don't have to go out for anything. There's been so many sirens going on that I can hear of accidents and stuff like that. And even on the groups that I'm on, all the talk of don't go here, the traffic is awful, the lights are out. I almost got hit because somebody didn't pay attention to the rules, like to what the four-way stops when when there's no lights working, etc., etc. And everywhere is packed, so we don't have to go out. Without power, we would be we'd be in trouble, especially since I just did groceries on Wednesday. So right there, my fridges have about $400 of fresh stuff in them. My freezers have thousands of dollars of food that we would lose. So it's definitely a wake-up call. Also, maybe one of those things to think about, getting a generator, maybe on a wish list of save up for, because I know those darn things are expensive. So, but it's, it's better safe than sorry, right? So, have a great day. Please comment below if you yourself have an emergency kit and what's in yours. Bye, friends.